Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having an incredible week. And today we are doing day 10. Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today on our daily meditation. Today we are going to be doing some pretty heavy work, so I can't wait to get started with you with this practice that we have aligned. And it's really kind of like the meat and the important part of this entire challenge is learning how to change our resonance in order to be a match to what we want to create. And how we do that, understanding the mechanics of that, is really, really important because the entire body is actually a system of generation of life force, generation of creation. So, how does one begin to change, become the magicians in this matrix in order to create what we're experiencing, moving out of a state of suffering, moving out of a state of lack, moving out of these repetitive patterns that we are kind of latching on to and reliving over and over again in our lives. And as we've spoken many times before in our practices and how we've been aware, the changes that have been occurring over the past 3-4 years have really triggered all of those really deep-seated emotions that have maybe other times been pushed to the back so much that we don't want to deal with them. They become overwhelming. And it's precisely at this time that these kinds of emotions are the ones that are triggered, not just emotionally felt in the body, but they are triggered by manifestation. They are triggered by creation, which means that experiences that we're coming into are matching that frequency because it's what's taking up space in our energetic space. So, working on energetic hygiene daily is the first step to assisting you in beginning to become aware what it is that you are holding in your space. What is it that you're putting out there that's attracting these repetitive kinds of experiences over and over again? Let me plug this in, make sure we don't have any echoing. And as a result of that kind of awareness of our multidimensional body, we begin to kind of become alchemists in how we are experiencing life. Our entire multidimensional body is 13 dimensional planes, 13 layers that are constantly moving and interacting with our environment. And each one of those layers holds fragments of ourselves that are existing in those layers. Each dimensional plane is how time and space is manifested. And it basically measures time and space in those dimensional planes. And your vibrational frequency will dictate the kind of experiences that you're having on those dimensional planes. We are always interacting in all of these planes simultaneously. This is how we can get in contact with ghosts, get in contact with ETs, get in contact with past relatives through mediumship. This is how we can tune into the Akashic records. All of these levels of contact, levels of interdimensional awareness, are part of our entire organism from our perspective. And it's our perspective that is designed and created and informed by all the experiences that we've had throughout our life. So if we begin to tweak gently, little by little, some of these belief systems that are more limiting than others, we begin to shift greatly the way that we're interacting in all these dimensional planes. So when we're talking about manifesting, what we're experiencing in the now moment, how would someone go about changing their resonance in order to begin to really affect the kinds of things that we are experiencing and coming into? Well, one of those ways is by understanding that whatever your system is made up of, whatever your emotional system is made up of, is what is informing those experiences. So in daily meditation, one of the most powerful ways to begin to shift your life is to work with those emotions that are triggered constantly by things, events that are occurring externally. And as we begin to work with those heavy emotions, heavy experiences, traumas from today, yesterday, all the way back to the womb. We begin to reintegrate the fragments of our soul. And because we are fragmented, and when I say soul, I'm talking about your entire expression. This is what I mean, your entire energetic expression. That is the soul. The soul consists of your entire expression on multiple dimensions as it manifests, and it is embodied and integrated into the body. The more we become whole, the more we heal, the more we embody the integration, which means that you become aware of yourself in all of these experiences, you become whole, total. And this whole self is where the soul life force begins to grow. And so this is what we want to help our bodies do on a daily basis. So in manifestation, in, let's say, The Secret, or all of these concepts on how to manifest, the first step is to embody as much neutrality as possible, so that you're not creating from the past. Because all of these experiences that you've had are basically like filing folders in a cabinet. The brain is the cabinet. The entire system, neurological system, begins to take folders, and from those reference points begins to apply that behavior into your everyday life. And oftentimes, if we're not aware that even a simple example, let's say someone says something mean to you, immediately you're triggered these feelings of unworthiness, or lack, or not being worth, not being good enough. All of these things start to come up immediately. You are living from the past based on experiences that you've had previously. The past experiences are the reason why you are experiencing this person behaving this way. And the past experiences are the reason why you are now reacting in the way that you react. So it's really important to understand that when we begin to dissolve all those past experiences, we will not be in a resonance, in vibrational frequency, in match to these kinds of triggering experiences. When we look from above, all these experiences that we're here to have on earth, what we begin to realize is that, in a way, we have so intelligently and in such a complex manner, designed our lives in the families that we live, with the sometimes trying relationships, trying family members, really testing, many emotions, many things, many very fine and vulnerable aspects of ourselves. And it's a very deep kind of behavior that occurs as a result of all of these experiences. So we end up manifesting all of our suffering, all of our pain. We live that, we embody that, and we continue to create this perpetual cycle of creating more suffering for ourselves, because we forget that we are not those stories. These past experiences are the key to liberation. Liberation meaning they are the key to non-suffering. When we reintegrate from these experiences, when we neutralize our perspective in those experiences, when we expand our perspective in those experiences, they no longer become this giant mass of information that we are constantly vibrating at, living at, and expressing through. So this is kind of very important because it makes up your entire essence. People wonder why people end up sick, why they end up not having abundance, why there isn't success in the life, why, people come to me all the time saying, I'm not able to manifest this, or I can't move forward, or I feel stuck. And so in order to move in those blockages that we have, and of course they are self-created based on our ideas and our programs, fears and anxieties and limitations that are created by ourselves, by our experiences. How we begin to unblock ourselves from those things is to work with those emotions, the most vulnerable parts of you, and making them strong. reverse that vulnerability into awareness, into an education and understanding that there are more perspectives than just that vulnerable point that sees itself as weak, as helpless, as incapable of interacting in those experiences. And that process of informing yourself that you are the opposite of what you believe to be is actually one of the most powerful things that we can do to begin to shift in how we're experiencing life. So as we begin to work with these memories, we begin to reintegrate parts of ourselves, becoming whole. This changes vibrationally our attention, because wherever our attention is, that's where energy is directed. So most of us, our attention is in the past. So all of our life force energy becomes drained because it's being focused on points that don't exist, on illusions, on imaginary experiences. And these are not constructive imagination. This isn't creative imagination. This is counter creative imagination because it's something that existed in the past. That is the difference between utilizing your imagination for creation and utilizing that imagination for counter creation. If you're imagining something that is only being informed by past experiences and emotions, you're going in reverse and nothing can move forward in that energy. So if you begin to create and imagine in the now, for example, you imagine a white light coming into the body and healing the body, there are so many aspects to that mechanism in just that 1 second of imagination. You are utilizing your emotions, you're utilizing your intention, and these are the base root, most important aspects of manifestation and creation. It is a combination of intention, of presence, and of directed energy. So if you want to learn how to manifest in your life, these are the primary things that we have to focus on in our lives when we're interacting and trying to co-create and build things for ourselves. If the mind is constantly in the back, in the past, or potentially in the future, it is still in a place that is not existing. So all of the life force becomes drained. And we are infinite life force, but when we are directing life force into these limiting imaginary spaces, it becomes depleted quickly because we forget that we are an infinite life force. We are only looking at this illusionary timeline within the birth and death, the beginning and end of things, instead of understanding that it is a moving cycle. So if our thought forms are primarily beginning and end are finite all the time, it's going to create a very conflicting belief in the natural blueprint of your multidimensional self. Because your organism understands that. It abides by the laws of regeneration. It is constantly moving life force through the body. The cells are becoming regenerated. The organs are becoming regenerated, each one at their own pace, each one at their vibrational frequency, depending on what each organ is utilized for. Even the length and time of regeneration that it takes, for example, the liver, okay, to regenerate, which is primarily the solar plexus, the area in which we embody a lot of anger, and the bile is secreted into the body. So when we have overactivity in that space, it creates these chemical responses in the body that again creates inflammation and all of these counter creative results in the biology of your body, energetic body. And then it affects, of course, how you're manifesting in your life. So the more we begin to look at ourselves as an interdimensional network of information, runway of energy, the more we're going to be able to look at ourselves with compassion, because each emotion creates a chain reaction in the body that either counter creates, cause suffering, pain, and illness, or creates, causing abundance, freedom, sovereignty, and of course the free will and love ultimately, which is the most powerful creation. Now, the love that we are talking about is not a love of relationships. It is pure life force, creative life force energy. And we can begin to educate ourselves on what the definition of what love is by beginning to understand how this organism operates at its highest potential throughout the day. So, if we make choices every single moment, choosing things that really make us feel happy about ourselves, love ourselves, feel proud about ourselves, each one of those choices is creative. And that emotion that one feels, for example, I used to support on a hotline for suicide prevention. And whenever we were instructed the many different modalities that one could give someone who is at the point of suicide. But one of the most important tools in moving out of depression, moving out of those blockages and those moments of crisis, is to begin to redirect the energy in doing things that make you feel really good about yourself. And that's a very simple, basic thing. But when we're talking about healing, we want to take it up a notch, right? So the first step is to do things that make you feel good about yourself. Do something creative, take care of plants, take care of yourself, go for a walk, choose healthy things, all of these little choices that are constructive for the organism. But if you take it a step deeper into the psychology is actually the part that is the most profound in affecting the organism in change. So, for example, let's say something is occurring in your life that is overwhelming. Instead of becoming overwhelmed and helpless in that situation, what if you would take a step back and completely allow yourself with compassion to accept what is happening? And bring yourself into a state of peace and neutrality. And from there, from that silence, from that stillness, then beginning to react and respond to the chaotic things that are occurring in your life. So that choice that you just made, not going back to the old habits of behavior, but completely changing your modus operandi in that moment, will create that fusion, that spark of energy in the body, where we are now not only changing the neural pathways in the brain, but immediately, because we are programmed so deeply to react to things. And sometimes those reactions have become so mechanic and so unconscious that oftentimes we're like, wait a minute, I don't really feel that depressed. Why am I feeling this depressed? It's just an automatic response that we're used to. So this level of awareness allows you to really question, how does depression really affect me in that way? Is it constructive for me in that moment? Or can I maybe try something different? And instead of feeling depression or helplessness, I begin to just silently observe what's happening and walk through what would be the most compassionate thing for you to do in that moment. What would be the most loving thing that you could do for yourself in that moment? And that kind of shift, that kind of change is literally changing your body alchemically, emotionally, energetically, physically, biologically, chemically. I mean, everything is changing in the organism. These are the systems of manifestation that we need to focus on in order to create. And when we don't have these systems in awareness, when we're not aware of them, and we're robotically responding to things, we become very easily hosts to the parasitic consciousness and activities and behaviors that are siphoning our life force through our lack of awareness. So this is where the human begins to tap into its magic. Now, once we have those emotions and that awareness in check, let's talk about the next step. Now that we have the emotions in step, what happens now when you have found that stillness and that silence? You can begin to manifest and shift your experiences through pure intention, through will and pure intention, because now you've brought yourself in the present moment. Those automatic reactions, again, are future or past. When you take a moment to take a step into stillness, you've now brought yourself into the moment. So all fragments of yourself are becoming aware of themselves in that exact moment. So now you have the most power because energy is being directed in the actual only true moment of creation. It's not being depleted front and back. past or future. It's being directed into this moment. So your intention is now magnified 20 million times more. So if you're in the present moment, congruent with your emotions, you can now begin to direct this. And this is where we begin to work with color energy, vibrational frequency. And we can utilize color as a vibrational frequency, as a language that we are emitting into the universe, into time, space, matter, in order to readjust its cyclical responses into a creative life force experience and opportunity. And we do so by beginning to understand what we need in that moment. Okay, that's the first step, becoming very clear about what you need. So, in that stillness, observing the experience and then beginning to understand what is needed, the most compassionate, congruent, energetically balanced choice in that moment. And you can choose these needs that you've discovered and create a color for them, a vibrational frequency, because you are using the power of intention to bring that into your energetic space, and you become that. So in the law of attraction, they talk about embody what you wish to have, right? Well, this is taking it to the next step into the actual raw mechanics of what that's all about. It's not just about the thought, it's about the intention, the presence, and the actual system that is in creation state. And in order to embody that creation state, we have to get clear about what your body needs, the most compassionate need in that moment, and providing it for the body in that moment. So as you create this color, this vibrational frequency, you can utilize this color to heal the self, to become more clear, and immediately feel that transformation. And this is where you enter into the state of channeling, of connection to the higher levels, because you have shifted your vibrational frequency. So now you can begin to channel information, intuition, and little by little, with your daily work, any kind of fears, anxieties, self-doubts that begin to creep up in that moment, through your personal training daily of doing this work, you begin to help those parts of you and trust more and more, utilizing your intuition, applying your intuition throughout your day. So this congruency between your intuition, your emotions, and your actions is actually the next step to that. That is the most important thing. And so this is actually the laws of true manifestation. We can begin to utilize the crown and the seventh and eighth chakra, which are they are where life force channels into the organism, meeting the physical body, right, from that life force, that non-physical, into the physical, and begins to project into our reality. And it's informed by all the emotions. It's energy in motion, right? So all the emotions that are pushing in towards that intention and projecting out into reality. So this is important. Our emotions are what feed that. So if your emotions, again, are past or future fears, you're not really creating anything. You're counter-creating. So in today's practice, I want to take you through reviewing some of these blockages that we've experienced. And we're going to walk through this exercise piece by piece, manifesting what we need at this time. So I want you to get really nice and comfortable, and we're going to start. Breathing deeply. Thank you so much for joining us. As you ground down to the center of the earth, you're going to visualize a protective field around your body. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. And we're going to quickly visualize the spheres around the body. Complete protection, making sure we have no openings. Grounding down to the center of the earth and being in the body. Very good. We're going to start by working at the root chakra. Go ahead and close that root chakra down to the size of a dime. Sacral, closing it down to the size of a dime. Solar, closing it down to the size of a dime. You're going to go up to the heart, expanding wide, front and back. Going up to the throat, expanding wide, front and back. Going up to the third eye, expanding that third eye. Front and back. Going to go up to your crown, activating the 7th, activating the 8th. From the center of the earth, go ahead and visualize a powerful wave of golden light coming up into the center core, creating a vortex of energy. Green light. This is green life force energy. You can visualize a deep forest energy coming into the body. And we utilize running energy because it's one of the most powerful ways to heal and remove debris from the multidimensional body. From the universe, from source, go ahead and bring down that cosmic energy down to the crown of the head, combining with the green earth energy. Mixing and swirling, picking up debris from the multidimensional field. We're going to take 10% down to the center of the earth, a small amount. Just channel that into the center core. You're going to go back up to your solar plexus, take 80% up through the crown of your head, coating the outside of your protective field. Severing any cords with people, places, and things that we're no longer in alignment with, and taking a moment for all fragments to become aware of ourselves in those moments and consciously release any kind of parasitic cords, anywhere where our life force is taken without our awareness, without our consciousness, bringing light to those aspects of ourselves and calling our life force back into our body as you inhale. Recharging your body, re-energizing, rejuvenating. Going back to the solar plexus, taking that 10%, going up into the body now, absorbing it into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level. So now that you're here, running energy through the body, begin to breathe consciously, mindfully, bringing yourself into the present moment. Beginning to notice the sounds that you hear around you, the tastes in your mouth, the smells, your intuitive antenna, and whatever you're picking up from around you. Go ahead and tune in to what what you're sensing around you. And as you focus on all of these senses at once, at the same time, you are the observer that is at the center of that observation. I want you to get very acquainted with what this feels like, being and embodying the observer. This state that you're in this moment is the most powerful point of creation that you can achieve. So anytime that you are stressed out, anytime that you are confused, overwhelmed, immediately bring yourself here. Grounded, protected, aligned, and you're co-creating. So just letting the body adjust to this awareness. If there's a lot of uneasiness or a lot of high energy, this will help calm your mind and refocus where you are directing your energy. It should be in this self. And it is in this state that you can begin to observe what joy is, what love is. More expansive emotions are capable of entering the body when the body is not in a state of resistance or stress. Notice that. So this is home base. Now that you're here, I want you to begin to tune in to a major blockage in your life that you are dealing with at this time. Okay. And as you begin to think about this blockage, you begin to observe it, you begin to kind of look at all of its limitations, all of the stressors that trigger us, all of the problems that it might be causing in your life, and the people that are involved in that. Just observe it. I want you to notice the emotions that it triggers in you as you begin to think of all these things. And I want you to see this scenario as if you're watching it on a screen, and you're kind of separately watching your body and the reactions that it's having. You're observing. Does it make you want to move around a lot? Does it make you want to not sit still? Does it make you want to get up, run around, go do things? Notice that kind of instability that it creates within you. And I want you to breathe through it. Breathe, observing it. All the emotions that it might trigger in the body. And as you observe those emotions, you're going to notice that there are many thought forms that begin to form as a result of those emotions. So let's say it's this complete anxiety that starts coming in. Okay. What are you anxious about? Notice that. What makes you anxious? And I don't want you to get lost in the storyline of it. I don't want you to start talking about, oh, this person did this and that day went that and did this. And don't get lost in the story. I want you to just look at plain facts. You're observing like a third person perspective. The moment you start getting lost in the story and in victimizations of yourself or another person or scenarios, notice that that is the ego part of us that wants acknowledgement, that wants recognition of our suffering, and oftentimes we're addicted to that suffering. So we tend to get caught up in that loop and we get stuck in that moment of feeling and sensation. So I want you to observe the information rather than getting stuck in the emotion and the sensation that it triggers in the body. So as you begin to observe the thought forms that manifest from those emotions that are triggered, I want you to begin to check and see if the thoughts, if the assumptions that you make as a result of those emotions and observations, if they are true. Are they true? Let's say, for example, something makes you feel so anxious. Why? Because if I don't accomplish it, I am unworthy or I am not good enough. So take those examples and ask yourself, are they true? Are they true? Okay. And as you challenge each one of those thought forms that begin to arise from those emotions, calmly notice how much of what you're feeling is based on fact and how much is based on fears. How much of it is based on experiences that are not actually existing in the now, maybe just faint memories of the past or fears of the future. You'll notice that all of them are based in fear. And the question that I want you to ask yourself is, what is it that I fear most? Okay? As you begin to observe what it is you fear the most, I want you to see that part of you that fears. Go ahead and look at it. What does it look like? That part of you that fears. Look at how its body is, this part of you. Look at what it's wearing. Look at how its energy is. Look at its hair. Look at its face. Look at its clothing. Look at its shape of its body. Maybe it's not even a person anymore. Maybe it's an object. This part of you that fears, give it a shape, give it a form. What form does it give you, and what does that form make you feel? And as you identify that feeling, begin to observe what would you need in order to not feel that way? What would be the opposite of that? Okay. Go ahead and give it all that it needs, all that it requires. It can be absolutely anything. Give it all that it needs and allow it to transform before you this aspect of yourself. This very stressed aspect of yourself. And as you give it all that it needs, maybe it needs safety, maybe it needs love, maybe it needs acknowledgement, maybe it needs trust, maybe it needs to surrender. Give it everything that it needs. And as you see it begin to change, you're going to begin to feel that the emotions that you were feeling in your body begin to slowly dissipate. Slowly dissipate. You notice what you're doing here is you're working on a dimensional plane of yourself, a dimensional layer, and it is directly affecting your physical body. This is integration. This is healing. Okay? So as you begin to see that part of you transforming, changing, go ahead and take this new wisdom into your body, breathing deeply. And ask yourself now, going back to the original blockage, do you feel just as blocked as you did in the beginning? Now, looking at this experience, looking at this blockage from the eyes of this transformed self, this transformed aspect of yourself. How do they deal with the blockages that we're dealing with? How do they deal with these emotions, these tremendous, engulfing emotions that we're feeling? Is it the same? Has it changed? Allow yourself to reintegrate and observe how they carry about this blockage now. Take a look at that. Perhaps they don't feel so stressed anymore. Perhaps now they feel more calm, more confident, more trusting in what they're experiencing. Okay? So this is the kind of awareness that we want to do, not just in meditation, but every moment of your day. And you are instructing yourself on how to do that. Notice how the body begins to expand, and this is where we can hold more light. We talked about 30 days of growing your light, your energetic field. Well, this is how it's done. So as you breathe in, taking that as a part of your body, breathing deeply, you're going to begin to cut cords, energetic cords, with these blockages, with people, places, and things that are involved in these experiences. I want you to see them in a crowd in front of you. They can be a place, they can be a thing, they can be a problem or a person. You're going to see the cord connecting you to them in your body. Go ahead and cut the cord on their end. And I want you to pull that cord out of your body. Notice what it looks like as it begins to leave your body. What you're pulling out with it is all of the damage that we've been doing in our body as a result of these heavy emotions and stresses that this event has. Notice that as you pull it out, you begin to heal the organs, you begin to feel more expansion. It's almost as if you can breathe more, and all this heavy stuff begins to leave the body. So as you begin to eliminate that, I want you to see a vortex of white light in front of you, and you're going to send this cord in that white light, introducing this aspect of ourselves to source, to the infinite. Allow it to absorb, taking every last drop from the body. It's going to be complex. It's going to be connected to more than one organ, more than one part of the body, more than one layer. Each chakra is a dimensional layer. So if it's here in the body in a chakra, it's out in our field. So you're pulling literally from all these spaces out of your body. Breathing deeply, taking back your life force, and releasing what doesn't belong to you. And you're going to bring down a powerful stream of white light from source, and you're going to feed it into that part of your body that you just released. Go ahead and feed it into the body, breathing in. Notice how that white light is very loving, very healing energy. That's what you want. That's you. That's an extension of yourself. So bring that loving energy into the body. Heal those parts of the body. Every thread that was released, we are injecting with this white light, allowing integration, healing. And so you'll notice that wherever you pull the cord from, you have a hole in your auric field. Go ahead and seal that field. Seal the field. That rhymes. Go ahead and seal that completely. Okay? And as you feel more whole now, I want you to create a symbol or a color that represents the highest vibrational movement for this blockage that you have, for this problem that you have in your life. What color do you see? What symbol do you see? Take that symbol and that color. If it's a color, I want you to fill your space with that color. Okay, your bubble, your field of light, you're going to fill it in with that color, and it's going to change your frequency so that your resonance is the healing resonance to encounter this event. This is how we change things. Okay, if it's a symbol, you're going to put that symbol 360 degrees around your body. And again, you're changing your vibrational frequency, your resonance, to match the highest outcome of this event. And you can do this with people. You can do this with things. You can do this with court dates. You can do this with surgeries. You can do this with dates. Okay. You are utilizing manifestation, your creative engine, to shift how you experience reality. This is how powerful you are. This is the magic of the human that has been utilized for centuries. Centuries. The magicians, all the light workers of white magic are utilizing these tools. So it's time for us to utilize that as well. So as you begin to bring that into your space, I want you to open the root chakra back up, the sacral back up, spinning. You can clean those chakras. The solar plexus back up, balancing the heart, balancing the throat, balancing the third eye. Breathing deeply. And as you begin to breathe into the body, cleansing breath, now cycle this more re-energizing. Notice how lighter you feel. Notice how you're able to feel more joy. You're going to see the cord of white light that runs through your body, and you're going to widen that field. Widen that field from the center of the spine down through the crown of the head, down the spine, down to the perineum. Widen your light all around you. Okay? Very good. So go ahead and come back into the room, and you can open your eyes. And now that you're here, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for this meditation. I really hope that this meditation has helped you. I want to hear in the messages if you have any questions or any difficulties. Let me see if I have any questions. Joe, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, RR2. Thank you so much, Danman. Thank you so much, Danan. Alina, hey, Marcelo, Angie. Thank you so much. Jamie, One Love, Zaza, good evening. Jeremy Burr, Luana, Mary Bon, Norma. It's so wonderful to see all of you guys here. You guys are amazing, and everyone else, JF. Thank you. Please let me know. Marcelo says, when you said to imagine a symbol, I think I watched an inverted triangle. Very interesting. So, symbols are very, very important because just like color represents a vibrational frequency, symbols also represent a vibrational frequency. So as you get to know yourself more, as you take a look at your past lives, you'll notice that certain symbols resonate more with you, and it has a lot to do with your work here on earth or in other dimensions, because some of these symbols have been paramount in our history, in sciences, in the mathematics, in the alchemy, right? And so a lot of these different symbols have great symbolism in regards to your particular lineage and energy and your magic that you work with. Joe says dark blue popped up. What does dark blue mean? Blues are primarily communication and expression. So if it's a darker blue, it's the masculine in that expression energy. So are we aggressive communicators, or are we balanced, compassionate of ourselves and others, balanced expression? So notice that and see if maybe that might play a role in any of your life. That was beautiful, JF. Jeff, thank you. Natalie says a lot of unconscious energy in that release. Wow, nice. Mary Bond, that helped with an old belief I removed. Fantastic. Angie, I saw a purple color and a Merkaba shape. Heart chakra was spinning. Yes, love this. So don't forget, guys, take a little journal, whether it's your daily journal, mark down the symbols that you use. those symbols have changed my life when I started using this work, this magic, this creation energy. My relationship started changing, my career started changing, everything about my life began to change. And the thing is that it's not changing in any random direction. It's changing in the direction of your highest expression. And isn't that what we want? We want to embody our highest expression, our mission, the work that we're here to do that goes transcending the emotional sensory body and all of these ego parts of us. It's matching the next level human part of us that we're here to create and help co-create. And that's really where the intention should be from the moment you get up to the moment you go to sleep. What is going to help this organism catapult into its highest expression so that I can be what I need to be in this world? And that's really what we want to embody. Luanda says, it's amazing how helpful these practices are. That's amazing. Marcelo sings, I think it became a tetrahedron. Beautiful. Use that. I saw an ankh with the light blue around me. Wow, that says a lot about you, Mary Bond. You got some ancient magic in you. JF says, thanks for sharing these techniques. Thank you, JF. Thank you, Geraldine, for show this part of use that has been loose and forgotten. Yeah, I thank you so much. And look at you guys. You know it works, and you've tried this because you've been here before. You've known these tools. These are not new. They are in basically embedded in our blueprint. So we're just remembering. So I put many tetrahedrons around me with purple color. Perfect, Marcelo. Sarah Loftus, namaste friends from Kansas City. I saw Om symbol. I put it all in the old Ikes. Beautiful. Around me and in my body, hot pink, beautiful, awesome. Mary Bond. So I can use this ink, blue light. Cool, I like that. Yeah, use that, Mary Bond. Sarah says all the molecules. Sorry, typo. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. JF, emerald green, light and light language symbols were constantly changing is what I experienced. Beautiful light language. Use that. In my healing sessions, light language comes up a lot for people that are unlocking that parts of themselves. And that light language heals their body with their own vibrational frequency, with their own light. So that's really powerful. Danan says, I saw an indigo figure that turned into a Vesica Pisces. Wow, powerful. Anita Zanikova says, missed this, came in at the end, but will return to co-create ASAP. Much love to you. Yes, love that. Figure 8. Ooh, infinity. Denon. Yes, they are teaching me how to use my tools. Beautiful. You guys, love you so much. Once again, every time I come here, it's a joy to be with you and do this work. I will be here tomorrow. Last night, I was working till 1 in the morning on a project and could not peel away because I had other people working with me. But I'm very happy to be here today, and I will try to do a video earlier tomorrow. That way you have more days for this week. All my love, and see you soon. Joe, I'll answer your question tomorrow. Okay? Love you. Bye-bye.